down.
Obviously, Liz, we would, if we could. They're not responding.
Are you telling me a swarm has gone rogue, Ted?
It's worse than that.
Show me the data then. And I'll take that lunch. Alone.
Ted Faro brought Elizabeth Sobek here, but they hated each other.
Another file has been recovered.
God damn. Look at this view. Alright. Before I do this, I want to, I don't know if I should go up there or not, because I want to go up there and see if there's anything. What I don't want to happen is, like, something to happen and, like, I get teleported somewhere. It's my only chance to get it, but...
This isn't a glitch. It's a catastrophe.
Fully aware. It's bad.
Bad?
Jesus, Liz.
It's not bad, Ted. It's apocalyptic. You built a line of killer robots
Peacekeepers.
that consume biomass as fuel,
In emergencies.
and you made them capable of self-replication.
Limited, self-manufacture, controlled.
Not anymore. The glitch severed chain of command. The only nation this swarm answers to now is itself.
You think I...
Everything else is just food. And at the rate it's replicating, Ted, it will strip the Earth bare in 15 months. We're not talking fall of civilization. We're talking extinction.
I get it, Liz. So how do I stop it while it's contained?
It's not contained. It can't be.
You know what I mean.
Right. Before the truth gets out, you mean?
Liz, I will do anything you say. Keep working it, and whatever you recommend, I'll do.
I'm gonna hold you to that, Ted.
The Faro robots threatened all life on Earth. But somehow she defeated them. The world of the old ones fell, but life went on, or we wouldn't be here.
A final file has been recovered.
Project Zero Dawn.
Ooh.
Jesus, Liz. There has to be another way.
Name
If there
drop.
were a nicer way to fix your mess, I would have proposed it.
But this? This? When I asked you to find a cure, I didn't expect it to be worse than the disease.
It's not, Ted. It may be grim, but it's our only chance. Now sign the proposal.
Sign it? I can't sign that.
Yes, you can.
That? Liz, I cannot in good conscience sign that.
You've got a choice, Ted.
I know.
I'm speaking to you from a VTOL en route to U.S. Robot Command. In 15 minutes, I meet with General Harris and the rest of the Joint Chiefs.
What? Are you crazy?
Now your choice is what I tell them. Sign, and I'll tell them the wealthiest corporation on Earth has guaranteed the funds necessary to build Zero Dawn. Exactly as I've designed it. Or don't sign, and I will make sure they and everyone else on this planet knows the real cause of the glitch.
Ooh. What is the real
Jesus,
cause?
Liz. You don't have to threaten me. I'll sign.
Look on the bright side, Ted. From here on out, you get to do what you've always been good at. Footing the bill while others get their hands dirty.
God forgive me.
What made her solution so terrible? What did she do to stop the robots?
Executive access detected. Express lift opened.
Before I do that, I'm gonna go up here. I know what this is, but there's no way I'm gonna climb to like the highest place in the friggin' map, probably, and not climb to the top of it. power cell.
Good.
Uh-huh.
Another power cell. If I find more, I should be able to get to that ancient armor I found.
Raffle down. Okay. Ancient armor. Alright, so I think we've got 2 or 3. Great. Perfect. Alright. I'm glad I've done that before going into the
Executive
elevator.
access detected. Express lift.
This doesn't add up. Sobek couldn't have been my mother. She lived ages ago. All this searching, and I'm still no closer.
That's your reaction to everything you've just learned? To whine like a spoiled child?
You should really try talking that way to me face to face.
As you wish.
Mmm.
Do
Dude,
you
it's straight
really
up
have
him.
no idea how monumental are the discoveries you just made, Aloy? I expected more of you.
So, you have a face. Got a name to go with it?
Of all the questions you could ask right now, that's the one you choose. I've spent decades searching the ruins of the old ones, trying to solve the mystery of what happened to them. For years, I've suspected that Pharaoh robots destroyed their civilization, but I could never confirm it. And in minutes, you uncover more ancient knowledge than I have in a lifetime. And what you want to know is my name. Silence. That's my name.
Silence.
Now, why don't you try asking another question? Something less trivial.
All right, Silence. You've made your point. I came to these ruins hoping to learn more about this Elizabeth Sobek. And I have, but I still don't understand my connection to her. Or why the Eclipse is trying to kill me. Or who Hades is. No answers, just one question after another.
Exactly. Which is why it's time to expand your frame of inquiry. Only then will you see just how big your problems really are.
What exactly are you talking about?
You've chased a personal riddle into a crowd of larger mysteries. The common thread is your connection to Elizabeth Sobek.
But what is that connection? She couldn't have been my mother if she lived centuries ago.
We don't know the connection yet. The only way to find out is to keep going, to keep making discoveries. Thanks to you, we've only just now learned that Pharaoh robots once threatened to end life on Earth.
But it didn't happen. The Old One's civilization was destroyed, but life was saved.
Obviously. So, what did Elizabeth do? How did she stop the robots before all was lost?
Yeah.
What was Project Zero Dawn?
Exactly the question. Now, are you ready to go get the answer?
Of course I am.
Then why are you still standing here?
I have questions.
Not so fast, Silence. You've got some explaining to do.
I've told you quite enough. If you still got questions, be quick about it and stop wasting my time.
Listen. You're speaking to the person who discovered more in 5 minutes than you did in a lifetime, okay? So... Alright, what should we... I'm going to assume that I probably can't answer, or probably can't ask all these questions, so... What are we gonna ask? What's the most least interesting? I feel like his intention, we don't exactly know what it is, but I feel like it's gonna be to help us in some way. I don't really care about him tracking my focus. I really don't think she's alive. I want to know who Hades is. So we'll start with that question.
So far as I can tell, the Eclipse are just following orders. It's Hades who wants me dead. Who is he?
I don't know. The Eclipse described him as a buried shadow, some kind of devil.
That thing that spoke to me outside, that made that focus explode. That was Hades? It didn't seem like a person or a machine. More like a phantom. With a terrible voice.
All that's certain is that he wants you dead.
Because of my connection to Elizabeth. Has to be.
He's got to be some sort of
Hades is
remaining.
using the eclipse to resurrect feral robots.
But if Elizabeth found a way to stop them centuries ago, if she made special weapons,
Yeah.
maybe Hades is worried I'll do the same thing.
In some of the ancient data I've recovered, there are hints of so-called super weapons being developed. Maybe to stop the robots, the civilization of the old ones had to destroy itself. Now, if that's enough talking, be on your way.
Oh no. I'm just getting started. You've been getting a free ride on my focus, risking nothing while I risk everything. All I have to do is take
Good
this
point.
thing off my head, and you'll be blind, deaf, and dumb. So quit complaining and answer my questions.
Very well. Proceed.
Huh. Good one. I'm interested in this though, but I feel like it's an obvious answer.
Is there any chance that Elizabeth Sobek could still be alive somehow?
It's highly unlikely, but not impossible.
Life
Some of the
extension
ancient
techniques.
data I've recovered includes mentions of life extension techniques.
See?
Pharmaceuticals mostly, an ancient word for medicine. But some were still trying to perfect ways of freezing and unfreezing people.
Uh-huh.
Freezing and unfreezing people?
Cryogenics, they called it. But there were problems with it. Given Elizabeth's technological acumen, I can't definitively rule out that she found a way to make herself immortal.
Oh shit.
But this is speculation. Wasting time.
Right, so they researched in life extension techniques, i.e. cryogenic, and it's possible that Elizabeth could have transferred her mind into AI or something. I mean, we did come out of like the big vault thing in the mountain, so did she like come alive and then have a kid, or make a kid, or is this, are we like a reincarnation? Like 99.99% of a DNA match is like too much for us to be a child, right? 99% is like almost directly the same person. So I feel like we are like, it took all this time to like reproduce like a clone maybe, and we're actually a clone of Sobek. Okay,
You said you've known for some time that Faro war machines destroyed the civilization of the old ones.
The evidence pointed that way. But until now, I never knew the full scope of their danger. That they could process organic matter into fuel, or that the Horus class could manufacture more robots. Like a cauldron on legs.
yeah.
But the robots we've seen so far, the Corruptors and Deathbringers, they don't do those things.
Not yet, anyway. So far, we haven't encountered any that are undamaged. At full power, who knows what they're capable of?
Okay,
You've been using my focus to spy on me. How's that possible?
Every focus emits a signal, a voice, that only other focuses can hear. I know how to string those voices together, how to make them talk to each other, to communicate, even over vast distances.
How do you learn to do that?
Years of study and experimentation. In principle, it's not so different from how you override machines. I override focuses,
And you can spy through other Eclipse's focuses too.
usually. All I'll say is that overriding the connections is complicated.
Who are you, Silence? And what are your intentions?
You really need to make this personal? I'm a lone wanderer who left his tribe behind a long time ago. An explorer of forbidden places, a searcher of lost knowledge. Exactly as I said.
Why do you know so much about the Eclipse?
I happen to know a lot about a lot of things. If what you're really asking is whether I work for the Eclipse or anyone else, I don't. I am nothing if not independent.
yeah, pretty much the answer I was expecting to get.
Elizabeth told Ted Faro she was headed for a place called U.S. Robot Command to tell people about Zero Dawn.
The place still exists, as a ruin. The Asuram call it the Grave Horde.
Grave Horde. Cheery name.
You'll find it in the eastern mountains, buried under the tangled coils of a metal devil, or a BOR-7 Horus, rather, as we're learning to call them. I'll contact you when you get there.
I can't wait. Someday we'll meet in person, and your manners had better be improved.
It's straight up Zavala, dude, from Destiny
Well,
2.
getting down will be a lot faster than getting up.
That's
currently.
exactly the,
U.S. Robot Command next. To learn the secrets of Zero Dawn.
that's even actually the guy, the actor, as well. It's not like his voice on a character model. They should have just mocapped him. There's also been something else I don't remember.
The snow's got a bite out here.
Okay, go to Grave Horde. Alright, everything here is clear, which is great. Should we get this? Probably get this vantage point. I wanted to get this ancient vessel and this camp. Wow, all the way over here. Go to Grave Horde. Oh, there's the tentacle thing. There's a frozen one. Explore the cut. Okay. Alright, let's go. Let's get this vantage point. Wouldn't mind probably getting the shell walkers because I'm low on like basic materials. Let's quick save it. Okay, where's my guy? Hello? Mount. Okay, here we go. I remember a lot of recordings on vantage points like being called like a pocket shitstorm. Oh wait, it's the opposite way and shit like that. So like, is that like post-apocalypse or pre? I don't really remember. How far into the story? Or are you at post-story? No, I'm still in the story. I have no idea how far I am. I think I'm still pretty early. I don't think I'm halfway. I'm probably between like I don't know.
They saw us.
Maybe 10-20%. And halfway. Nope. Dude. How was it corruption that I just shot? get some.
I can get out of this.
What the hell? Laser lens. Alright, we were stocking up on a bit of materials. But I might be low on. Metal shards, I'm kind of good. But I'll grab them. Wire, I do need wire. Even though I bought some, but now that I know, now that I've like gone out of them, run out of them like once before. I know now to like passively collect them. Okay. Now we're looking for a vantage point. So it's obviously going to be high, but there are a lot of rocks here.
I'll tuck that away.
And a lot of areas where I could be, might be up here actually. Can I climb? I can't seem to climb up there. There is a ledge though. So climb up there. Maybe it's here? No. Here we go, here we go. Oh, you gotta go around. That's fair enough. I mean, I wish I could see and enjoy the view, but unfortunately it's Ford automated solution. Faro automated solutions. Lol, I said Ford. That's funny. Alright. Ford. Ford's a car brand. It looks like a D. What do you mean? I just, you know. It's fair. Where the fuck? Okay, it's over here. Okay, now I did have modifications that I could use, so let's see what we can actually do here. Let's check the armor first because that's simple. Oops. Resist melee and resist corruption. Okay. Any more stealth? No. Alright, weapons. We got 36 damage, 43 tear, 39 tear and freeze. Okay, 43 tear. So you got 50 damage and 50 tear basically, and 50 handling. So we can kind of keep all that. Rope caster, we got a bunch of tear, 43 tear. And freeze. Okay. What's this one? Just straight out damage. 41, 38, 37. Okay. Freeze and shock. Corruption, handling. Kind of sucks that I have nothing fire, but if I'm going to change anything, it'll probably be the rope caster, even though it's super useful. But I don't know what I would swap with it. Either trip caster or probably shadow sling, maybe. Shock ice corruption, shock ice fire. Maybe just this one with fire and damage for the bottom arrow. But this does 342 damage for the blast, and this is like 300 just, or barely. And that can go way higher too. Like if you look at the lines, it's only like it can go. It's only about halfway, or maybe just past halfway. So that can probably go close to like 600. Whether this is already like almost max. That can go probably 300 max. The sticky bomb. Rope caster is just too effective though at what it does. Pocket Storm Tour Day 1. We're better to start than the end, where the end started. Anyway, Ground Zero, where it all began crashing down. My career first and everything else, and I mean everything.
A Pocket Storm Tour Day 1. We're better to start than at the end, or where the end started anyway. Ground Zero, where it all came crashing down. My career first, and everything else. And I mean everything.
Wow, starting wage is 6 times the basic wage? Jesus. Dream come true, yours and mine. Found out letting get away until graduation day to tell you in person. He was so proud, he hugged me 5 times straight. Laughing and crying at the same time, saying over and over, onwards and upwards. The start of great things. Thought so too, seemed as though nothing bad would ever happen to me, to us, ever again. Bad did happen, of course, more bad than I ever knew was possible. Well, I can't blame Faz for making you sick. Metallurgic gets the credit for that. I can sure as hell blame Pharaoh for the rest. Metallurgic, huh? I can sure as hell blame Pharaoh for the rest. Rest of the world later plays a part in the story, of course. I found out who was coming. I wouldn't be doing this, leaving these time capsules behind. But the apocalypse isn't a story I want to tell. This is going to be about our family, about us. Time I get going, spend off my life in the shadow of this place. I've got 11 more vanadium spikes in the trunk of the Sabara I rented. Some pretty good ideas for where to sink them. Let's get the hell away from this place and start sinking. Okay. So so that's day 5. That's day 6. This is day 1. Day 11. 7. Okay, so 7, 9, 11. Day 8. Day 3. Day 4. Day 2. So that's day 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 5, 6. Okay, so that's 1. Day 2. Father gets like 60 hours. Humor me. It was 8 when he died. At the funeral, some metallurgic international rep said we should be proud he died defending free markets. He died defending a claim on the mine. It wasn't rich enough to fully automated fleet because it wasn't cost effective to upgrade military surplus. Seven years until it almost killed me. Air Combat Academy.
A pocket shit.
Whoops, day 4, day 3, Day 8. Vandalize the museum. Takes and draft hacking security system. Use jammer to bypass window alarm when I got to work. Okay, smash some stuff. Calculated attack. None of the museum on Wyatt. You start dating Wyatt a few weeks before and I didn't like him. I wanted him gone. Fines and damages came to 18 months of basic income. Okay, I don't think these are like super useful really. Believe metallurgic internationally used to headquarters Jurio Ziggurat. His office is on the second floor. You probably wrote it. Can't believe you would replace my barber. Decorated combat flyer with a corporate drone. It's made as hard for you as I could. I was beyond cruel. Accused you of to your face of only being interested in wife for his money. Called my mother the gold digger. Worse. Refused to attend the wedding. Got myself arrested the night before just to cinch the point. Took me years to understand the obvious. Of course you made him for his money, for my sake, not yours. Try to get a rant and nanny bot. Huh, nanny bot? Okay. If you guys want to like read this, you can kind of just pause it. So I'm up to day 3. Day 5, okay. There's no day 4. Wait, here we go. Wait, oh, I read this already, didn't I? Day 5 then. Grey Storm's open for settlement at 9. I ID'd here, so police report said I was 15 years old when I worked in the hospital 2 days later. Face was the first thing I saw. Razor Wing. Certain designer stimulant named after a certain late 30s fighter craft who had a certain unpleasant association with. So I declined the offer. Heated, ominous portent and got the hell out of there. According to their police report, I went berserk and attacked the pusher, then set fire to his stash, then went after security drones that showed up. Shock flat out killed me. The menbots came fast as they could, but the first glitched out and the second got hung up in the crowd, so I was dead for almost 2 minutes. And after they revived me, my condition was touch and go on account of all the substances sloshing through my veins. Came out of the coma, your face was the first thing I saw. You've been crying, your makeup was smudged. I was not expecting you to start yelling, and weak as I was ready to yell back. Not even a coma could break my defiance. Wow. But you didn't yell, you quietly asked why to wait in the hall, and pushed your chair right to the edge of my bed and took my hand. I lost your baba 7 years ago. You were my only reason to go on living. Gaze lifted to medical equipment surrounding us and the tubes, blinking lights. Shook your head. Why do you live like no one loves you? Don't you realize that if you die, all my hopes and dreams and all the hopes and dreams of your father will die with you? Reached to touch my hair, and like a thunder crack, I broke, or maybe I was just snapping back together. I lay there sobbing for what felt like years the whole time. You never took your hand away, and I didn't either. Next day I agreed to go into treatment. I wish I could say I never picked up again, but it's not exactly how things turned out. Okay, what day is this? Day 5. Day 6. First out rehab when I saw the mental urge just play the heart's way for us. The M in Jersey looked pretty funny from over this. Okay. My late May or early June, I was only a week or two out of rehab. Still feeling pretty raw, pretty jungly about sober life. He'd already gone to toe-to-toes Mr. Gerson. Joke principal tried to block my readmission. But I didn't mind without drugs. Didn't really know what to do myself, so I welcomed the structure. Metallurgists were playing Wayfarers, and as usual, why I had box tickets, but this was the first time I'd agreed to go. Hell, it was probably the first time I'd ever agreed to do anything as a family. And in retrospect, I'm surprised Wyatt was willing to bring his Hellion stepson to a public event so soon. Seeing teams slug it out in Hollow before, of course, but seeing it in real, it was a whole other thing. The size of machines, their speed, the way they bashed each other to pieces, it was intense. All at once, my fascination with tech, which had kind of faded as I sunk into the drunks, came roaring back. When homie Ram and the team chief engineer stopped by the box at half time, I was all over him, blasting him with questions like one boy press conference. Looking back, it wouldn't surprise me if you took me to that game, hoping to get me excited about the tech before I headed into summer school. Or was it that you wanted me to catch a glimpse of corporate privilege? It was always your dream that I end up in engineering or business, while there was plenty of engineering in display when Conor 2 scored the 18-minute rocket jump. Okay, it's set up, you knew what you were doing, always did. Day 6. Day 7. 3 months out of rehab. We went camping. Wyatt went to sleep early, so it was just the two of us when we stayed up and watched the Perseids. After, as we talked about the stars and space tech, I suddenly knew what I wanted to do with my life. This August, summer school wrapped up, and I aced my courses, heading back to 10th grade. Wyatt gave me a Fullerton Labs astroprodigy and took me camping to watch the Perseids at their peak. I was amped. I spent all afternoon struggling with self-constructing shelter. He bought for the trip until finally he gave up and built the damn thing manually. Well, the sleeping pods anyway. While we made a fire and cooked dinner, I must have taken a lot out of him because he was not able for dinner. Went to bed soon after. As night fell, we sat and watched the meteors streak across the sky like fingernail scratches, marveling at the abundance, laughing our delight. After an hour or so, he asked me to teach you the constellations. So I launched the Astro Prodigy and played Professor spouting off about each star group as the drone magnified them. Later, I had to zoom in on Odyssey, which was still being constructed in orbit back then. Another year or two before they abandoned it. I could actually see the robots building it, zipping across the hull like little fireflies, so I jabbered about that, which got me started on yammering about the robots and Faro and other corporations. Even Metallurgic had begun sending up to mine helium-3 from Luna and metals from the asteroid belt. Oh shit, okay. That's kind of sci-fi coolness. The more I spoke about space tech, the more excited I became, but I was getting cold. Sat back down, hard to get at the camp. I wanted to say I was thinking about it. It felt ridiculous. White snorted explosively from inside the shelter and we giggled. Seemed to be an opening for me to just go and say it. I had a delinquent son who's flunked out of high school, nearly died of OD at a concert. Wanted to be an aerospace engineer. I make the sorts of machines you'd be talking about, robots to gather resources in the solar system, maybe even ones that could travel to other stars and colonize new worlds. He looked at me, smiles, and that is what you will do. And then he looked up at the night sky and stared very plainly as though it was a simple fact. We write the story of our family across the stars. Jesus, man. This story is pretty impactful. School start next week. I never look back. Day 7. Day 8. Holy crap, that glitched out lifter that crushed your arm, clavicle before you met Wyatt. That was in a mine back beyond these falls. What a punk I was. Tell me if I just stumbled across this place. I remembered your injury, of course. I just forgot that it happened all the way out here. So before Wyatt, obviously. Things were really hard for us. I was 12 or 13, already smoking dust every day. You were working all the time. Convinced me allergic to give you after they stiffed us on a death settlement. Must have been terrible servicing mining robots in dig tunnels for 1.5 basic. That's how you kept us fed. When Lifter injured you, the foreman said it was your fault, said the telemetry showed human error, yours. When you told me that the telemetry had been cooked, I didn't believe you. Blamed you for your injury, same as the company. What a great kid I was. Didn't understand the situation at all. Donald Comp was a financial death blow. We were days from living on the street, which is why you pushed your grievance up the ladder, up and up until finally wound up in White's office. He ordered an investigation, which was the right thing to do. I've always wondered just how dispassionate his decision was. Investigation proved the telemetry had been tampered with and validated your claim. And the implants and cybernetics fixed you up good as new. By all appearances, it looked like everything that had been gone broken had been fixed. Hell, another 6 months and you and White started seeing each other so full along, even our poverty was fixed. Wow, so she got like a prosthetic of some kind? We didn't know, of course, that you'd been poisoned. Label 6 exposure from the solvents you used to keep robot joints clear. We're still years away from knowing the long-term effects where damage was done. You didn't yourself working a shoe job to keep me fed and clothes. Can't even remember a single time I thanked you for it. Screw this place. Day 8. Day 9. I was setting up my tent right here when Wyatt's call came through. It came as fast as I could, but you'd already slipped into a coma. Never got a chance to say goodbye. Plan was going camping here after the Amos 15 launch. I've been working OT for the past 9 months, so I was pretty frazzled and figured I should take a weekend to relax before crunch started up again. Sitting up in a tent when White's call came through, he said it was an emergency. I called lift spin vert, made it to Denver General in less than 27 minutes. I was too late. He already slipped into a coma. I didn't understand how that could be, but when I told White to explain, he just kept choking up, wavering me towards the care station. So as a holy doctor, I broke the news how you'd been diagnosed a year earlier. The adverse reaction to gene therapy and polymer vascular replacement, 6 months of mobile dialysis. Couldn't believe you kept a secret from me, even at the height of crunch. I called you once or twice a week, so you just sat there listening to me and enthused about my latest project and complaining about workplace politics. All the while you were dying. Didn't make sense. Marched back to White, calling him and demanding that he explain. He said you hadn't wanted to distract me, that I was doing important work and needed to focus. The latest 8-month launch in the Palladium and Rhodium, you'd bring back to Earth mattered more than the Ma who was already here. White kept saying how proud you were of me. He even parodied that onwards and upwards phrase of yours. He said I should get back to work. That's what you would have wanted, and he'd stay at the hospital and keep me informed. I didn't go back to work. I called in. I took arguing my way past 2 supervisors and a labyrinth automated HR menu, human resource AI, and an anal defensive benefits executive to activate my personal leave, but I did it. I stayed at your bedside for the next 7 days. I kept thinking of the hospital after my OD at the amphitheater. Kept thinking that you came out of the coma. I went to my face to be the first thing you saw. The 8th day they pronounced you dead. Wow. After the funeral, I went back to work, Ray. Wasn't really there. I kept telling myself to focus. I was okay to be there. I was what you would have wanted after all, onwards and upwards. Work fell behind. My supervisor called me in for an emergency review. I told myself to play it cool, accept the criticism, and promise to do better. Didn't go like that. I snapped and shouted at him, and then he broke down, sobbing uncontrollably. 2 minutes to 3-second drones later, and I was standing outside a Faro building, blinking in the sunshine, straightening my bunch-up clothes. An alert on my focus indicated that I should go home for the day, then report for a disciplinary review on Monday. I didn't go home. Another idea had risen up in my mind, already fully formed. I guess I'd already been thinking of doing it for a while. Took a lift spin to Pioneer Park. 10 minutes of asking around, And a truth test to show I wasn't a cop was all it took to make a connection. I went home with the drug, starting using and didn't stop. Dust the snake, skydive overcast, no razor wing at least. Jesus, okay. Went back to drugs after one argument. It's not like he lost his job, at least not yet. I didn't take calls, didn't show up for disciplinary review all Monday morning. A friend stopped by and hammered the door until I answered it. When he saw what was happening, he staged a one-man intervention. I agreed to go into treatment, but I didn't harbour any illusions. Use of personal leave was bad, but use of psych SA leave, career suicide. Couldn't think you'd find me for it, but I'd been around for as long enough to know they'd find a way. My career was over. So I was at rock bottom, but I was wrong, of course. I still had a long way to fall. Wow, man. Even worse. Day 9. We got day 11. So what are we missing? 1, 5, 6, 1, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So missing 10, which is probably there. 11 and 12. So we're skipping 10, going to 11. Coming here to dive instead of overdosing was a wise code. I went walking to the water. I was standing right there when the idea hit me. The moment it did, I knew I had to do it. Came here, was double full of drugs. Found out about the plague. I had a plan, a simple one. I figured I'd spend a few days getting high, then OD on overcast. Guess I was still furious at wife for aiding and abetting your silence. Everything I got according to the plan. My corpse would have lay rotting in the cottage. Who knows how long. He would have needed to at least catastrophic cleaning box just to scrape me off the floor. A skeletal middle finger from beyond the grave. Things didn't go to plan for some reason. I went out walking before I got high. Trudged along the store, thinking all the times I walked and talked to you, how I changed over the years, how you'd stayed the same. Whether I was high school or jabbering about AP classes, or a university student gossiping about my professors, or Faz engineer pontification about payload yields, you were always there, always listening, always interested, and always encouraging me, of course, spurring me on, onwards and upwards. Now here I was, a failure, standing alone on the beach, all around me, children, chased playbots across the sand, sunbathers, basked, families splashing in water. I was zipped on old-timey boats, oblivious to the mechanical terrors that would soon consume them. Brief moments in the sun, doomed to end in horror and amount to nothing. All your love and devotion, all the sacrifices you made to support my success, or had they come to failure, and at such cost, we never even got the chance to say goodbye. But even if I hadn't failed, if I'd gone on succeeding, would that have been any better? The whole time I was clawing my way up the ladder to Faz, the company's military division was creating the tech that would end the world. I served the same master. Success was led to nowhere. It just took falling off and landing on the Vantage project to see that. Vantage project. Okay, so this is like Vantage point, obviously like what he's doing. I don't know why, but the irony of that never hit me until I was standing on this beach. It was only because I'd failed and been assigned to Vantage, an abandoned time capsule project, that I found out the world was ending. Wow, okay. I'd failed and been assigned to Vantage, an abandoned time capsule project. I found out it was irony, more like a cosmic joke. Why then did realization hit me like an inspiration? I'd access to the tech, I knew I could do it. Sure, in the end, I probably will come to nothing like everything else, but for 50,000 years or more, whatever data I left behind would still be there. Wouldn't be much, but it wouldn't be nothing either. I went back to the cottage, stashed the drugs, called a loose spin into town. If I was going to make an end of the world tour, I figured I might as well do it in style, so I leased a Sabara and rode that to Faz. I let myself into the lab, sent out 12 million spikes for testing, put them in the trunk of the Sabara, and then the rest is history. It was less than 2 weeks ago, feels like forever. When I started the tour, I figured I'd come back here and pick up where I left off, get higher than dead. First thing I did when I got back was incinerate the drugs, all 2.5